Welcome, everyone. It is so good to be here. Welcome to Elian's Joy and today's episode, Lift Your Spirits. My name is Elian Han and I'm your show host. Welcome, welcome. I am super excited to be here with you today and to share. And we are just going to talk about lifting your spirits today. This is the Spirit Month. This month we talk about all things spirit. Next month we talk about all things mind. And in April, we're going to think about all things body, and maybe we're going to do some things together that has to do with your health and with your wellness. But this is just a fun little episode about how to lift your spirits and what can we do for ourselves to get there. I have been a little bit stuck myself in the past, right? Everybody has been experiencing those times that you get a little bit stuck in your spiritual belief, in your faith, in the things that you would like to see for yourself and that you would like to believe in. And we can just kind of lose faith and lose hope a little bit. So I want to give you some tips and ideas today about how to kind of jump out of that and how to practice getting out of that. If we are thinking about our spiritual life, if we're thinking about our connection with being spiritual, then we talked about that last week. Then you know that feeling that you're coming to a sense of peace. And it's very easy to get in a rut and to kind of lose that. And last week we discussed it had nothing to do with happiness, because happiness was kind of related to people and places and events and happenings that were making you happy right in the moment. And being at peace was that you could always feel that you're in an okay place, even if really things are happening that are throwing you off and that are really sad or they're really um, just upsetting or that are just devastating, right? Everybody goes through periods in life where you have devastating things happening to you, or where you experience a lot of grief, or you experience sadness and loss and sickness and illness. So in these times, and I can relate because I've had that myself in the past, sometimes you just question the why. Is somebody listening? Is in my case, is God there? And why is all this happening? Does he even exist? And you're just kind of going to that moment of really trying to doubt a lot of things and trying to get to the questions of your existence or even God's existence or your higher power. Whatever you believe, whatever your spiritual life is and your spiritual connection, whatever your faith is, that is exactly about that. It's about, if you're feeling at peace, if you're feeling at ease, then you have faith and you have hope. And it's always nice to be able to fall back on that, right? And we see that in all forms of religion and spiritual life. We see that we have a connection, not just with our higher power, but with life and with others in general, and that we are not alone. If you get there, then hopefully you connect with some of these ideas that I have today, or these things and thoughts that I share with you. Because if you get there and you feel that connection, then it is such a wonderful place to be. And like I said, I have experienced that in my life a lot, and I've experienced it in my work a lot, right? I work as a life and wellness coach, and people come to me to discuss these things, discuss the sense of purpose. Why am I here? What is going on? I just don't feel it. I am just feeling so stuck. And if you feel stuck in all forms of life, but also spiritually, then there are things that we can do. And those are just things that we can practice. Those are just exercises for yourself that you can kind of throw in to feel more connected. It's very easy to lose ourselves in this time, in this day of life. It's very easy to lose ourselves. It's very easy to get stuck and to get spiritually stuck. So, like I said, in my work, I see that a lot. I'm a life and wellness coach. I work in my private practice with my clients. I work part-time in a addiction rehab facility where people are really stuck, of course, for a while. And even if you get to that place where you are losing your self-esteem or you're losing that self-awareness and you lose that spiritual connection, then you might just kind kind of fall off the slippery slope, right? And you might end up in an addiction um, habit. And there's all kind of forms of addiction habits. So it is not just substance. It can be that you're always in front of the television, or you're always on the computer, or you're always wanting to shop and spend money for no reason. Those kind of things are just that you're out of touch a little bit with things that you need to watch. So that is the things that I would like to share with you today. What do you get out of it? Well, maybe some good tips to feel that this weekend or next week you can do one or all 10 of these things for yourself, to just kind of get a little bit more in a mindful setting, because I'm all about mindfulness. I'm all about relaxing and taking some time out. Me relaxing. Yes, I'm all about relaxing and taking some time out for yourself to do nothing. And as I always say, doing nothing is so difficult because we're just constantly running, and we're constantly going, and we're constantly busy, and we're almost from a time where busy is good, right? And 3 jobs or 4 jobs, and that was a little bit of my generation growing up. That a form of really busy was giving you that respect, and it was giving you that feel of I'm necessary, I belong, and it was almost a little bit, well, I remember that I struggled with that, feeling like it was almost like a little sinful if you just sit and do nothing, if you're not productive, right? So we want to get rid of that anxiety, because now I do that for a living, trying to give you some anxiety intervention tips. And let's start with one. If you are feeling a little bit spiritual stuck, we have to share. We have to go exactly to that place, which is your synagogue or your church or your mosque, and where you can share with others, or just go to your women's club, or just go to a club that you might have to set yourself to. Maybe you are a little bit lonely, maybe you are isolating, maybe you do not have exactly that connection right now. Maybe you need to seek to find out if you can see that group of people that you can share with. And if you have that group of people where you can share with, and that is maybe in your church, or maybe that is in your library, or maybe that is in your synagogue, or maybe that is in your book club, if you share, that would be the very first thing to do, right? Telling somebody else, I just don't feel it. Where is God in my life? I just don't feel it. Where is this sense of it will be okay? I just feel that everything is falling apart, and life is getting at me, and everything comes in threes, right? And you really feel that disconnected feeling, and there is just no answer to your why. There's just no answer to what's going on. And you just really get stuck, and you really get in a rut. And if you have that feeling, it is always so good to share. You always need to share. If you share, you have this sense of belonging, you have this sense of being listened to, and you have this sense of somebody is giving you maybe tips, or definitely somebody is going through the same thing. And that is always what we want to go to. Just that feel, that connection, that you're not alone. That's the first thing. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling spiritually in a rut, then go to somebody and ask for help. Just do that and just kind of connect with somebody. That is always a good feeling. And I had to learn that the hard way, because I had many times in my life where I was just actually a little bit ashamed to share that. In my case, my God, I was just mad. I was just mad at my God. Why is this all happening? And why do I not have that connection? And why do I not feel that anybody is listening? And he left me, right? And if you feel that feeling, that is just a really difficult feeling. You don't want to go there. So in that case, you just feel that somebody left you, and that you're just alone. You're just alone. And that's a really terrible feeling. So go share, because you will always find out that a lot of people are with you in that feeling of sharing. And they'll say, oh gosh, I have it all the time, or I had it really badly in my 20s or in my 30s. And I really felt that I needed to reconnect with my spiritual self, and reconnect with the one, my higher power that I believe in. And what that is for you is very personal. But if it's personal, you can still share and find out what somebody else thinks or what their stories are for it. So share. The first thing is if you're feeling spiritually stuck in a rut. The second thing that I would really like to share with you is try to create a rhythm for life, a new rhythm. Maybe you're just doing the same thing all the time and you just feel that that's part of you being stuck. And maybe due to COVID, the last couple of years, you just didn't really get out and did visit that synagogue or the mosque or the church that you are belonging to. Or maybe you just didn't even, ever belong and you want to try to find out if you can find a new place like that. So instead of isolating again, try to put a new rhythm in your life, a new thing that you can do for yourself to find uh, that connection. And that has to do with a form of discipline, and it has to do with a form of doing the same thing all the time, right? Your rituals, your morning things. So maybe getting up in the morning and doing something different and creating that space for self and creating those 10 minutes and creating those away from the family times and away from the dogs and the cats, that you can just sit by yourself, just like I always say, some meditation, some reflection, some self time. And if that is a time that you need to start getting and bringing in to create a new rhythm, then do that, because maybe that's when you start to make that time for your spiritual self. And it wasn't there for a while. So a morning ritual or an afternoon ritual, just create something spiritual, create something that lifts your spirit, create something that is just for you and that makes you feel so good, that makes you feel so alive. So that is the second thing that I would like to say. Get a new dance on, right? Just kind of throw yourself out of the comfort zone and do something that is spiritually new. Time to read a Bible, or time to meditate, or time to reflect. Just some quiet and some new things, but put it into your everyday rhythm schedule in a new dance. Then the fourth thing is then exactly that's what you're going to do. In that time, you're going to practice gratitude. And that is something that can stand in itself on its own. Practicing gratitude is so important. If I wake up in the morning and I just feel and think about what I'm grateful for. Getting up straight, being, healthy in the first place, and just being there with my loved ones and feeling that I have a purpose for the day, or feeling that I'm going somewhere so that I can add something to other people's lives, or that can make other people maybe happy with a visit or with a phone call, so that you have that sense of gratitude to be able to feel a little bit alive. So a gratitude, even if it's a journal or a meditation or listening to music, just being grateful in the morning, waking up with gratitude, with an attitude of gratitude, is the best thing that you can do. And that just makes you feel good, right? That is just kind of a things that you can get that energy from, that I talk so much about. Last month, I talked all the time about how to give yourself that energy. And it makes everybody feel good. I think it's a proven thing. Thank you, Oprah, right? To wake up with an attitude of gratitude. So try to put that in there, in that time that you already created for yourself. The next one is really different. Just go shake things up and find a place where you can be really, really happy, in a sense of you never knew that you were going to a dance club. You never knew you were going to take a Zumba class. You hate exercise, and all of a sudden now you're going to do that. Or you're going to join a club that is out there walking, or going on a bicycle tour with some people. Just do something that is completely new and out of your comfort zone. Like I said, I'm never gonna go quilt. I love it so much, but I don't think I have the patience for it. I don't think I can do it. but I really need to start that because it's so beautiful and so many people around me are so good at it. And I would love to be able to do that. So if I could do that, then I would really feel that sense of, yeah, something new. I'm coming alive there again, right? So that will help. And if you are the next one, of course, getting out of the door and with your wisdom and with your spirit and with your good sense of wonderful self can help somebody else, do so. If you're spiritually stuck, go help somebody else. Yes, that always helps and that always makes you feel good because you get it straight back, right? I always say if you are wanting to find a little goal in life, then if you are finally feeling that purpose and you're finally getting that sense of belonging and sense of where you need to be, then at that time you really feel that you can give it away. And that is a great feeling if you can share your purpose or even your beliefs or even your faith or your sense of self even with other people. So that feels so good to help others because there's many people that we all know. I'm not preaching, I'm preaching to the choir. We all know what all this means. But we just need to hear it over and over again in a different context sometimes or from somebody else. So if you're going to help somebody who is spiritually a little bit stuck and then you explain where you're coming from and why you felt like that, then they're going to feel like that. And they're saying, well, I have the same thing. I'm so glad to share that with you. You make me feel a lot better. So you're sharing energy. You're sharing presence, you're sharing love, which is such a wonderful thing to do. So that definitely helps. And then maybe the next point, have a really, really, really clear conversation with God. I had that with your higher power. Clear conversation. Buddha, why don't I feel it? If you're a Buddhist, right? Why don't I feel it? Why can I not live up to the consequences and the promises of my faith? So I made promises. I want to stay in that belief system. I want to stay in that faith. I want to stay in that feeling of hope, but I have to do things for it. Why can I not find it? Why am I not in sync with those things? Why am I stuck? So have a good conversation because your higher power is listening. And as listening at that moment, of course, you are really feeling that that you are a little stronger inside. It's just a feeling. You're gonna get answers. And that was the thing when I was young. I wanted answers immediately, and I just don't understand why things are just going so bad right now. God, why have you left me? In my case, why have you left me? And if that is the case, everybody goes through that. Nothing new. Stuff just stacks up. And it was, I now know that was my reaction to it that made it even worse. And I just didn't know then. So I just kind of have to keep the faith and be on the same path and do these things to get back and get connected again. So that is really important that you feel that you can be there. Really a good thing that you can get there and it gets easier. It just gets easier. Not only because you get older, but just because you're doing the work to understand it. And if you're doing the work to understand it, then it gets easier because then you know that it's the same for everybody. Your reaction patterns were different. You can ask and you shall get. So that's where you need to find that. Another thing is really big. If we are a little bit in the rut, it's just because we did nothing else than watch Netflix or we gave over to distractions. We got lost in being alone and on the couch and just being at home and not doing anything. And COVID was to blame. And of course, COVID is to blame. I agree. But what are we going to do for COVID? What is our reaction? Because obviously it didn't go away so fast. So what is our reaction to it? What are we going to do with it? And if you feel that that is where you need to be or where you are, and there's all distractions all the time, just like, oh, you don't care, you do a million other things. There's too many things that distract us There's news with banners here and banners there and all this information overload. That is just too much. That is just too much for anybody. And that's why it's so difficult for us. Remember, I talked about that last week so much. That's why it's so difficult for us to have a sense of mindfulness. Now we have to practice nowadays. We have to practice mindfulness. What? We have to practice mindfulness that used to, or it's actually already in us, and it comes naturally, but we have to practice it because we're constantly on information overload. Way too much. That doesn't leave any room for you to sit down and have a conversation with your spiritual self and with your higher power. It doesn't leave room to be there. So, for that matter, you just have to create space and get rid of the clutter. That is really important. And sometimes the next point to do that, some places to do that is to remove yourself from the situation and go on a spiritual retreat. Go on a retreat anyway. Go to the beach. Go with people that also need that time alone and that time self, and just be away and take time. Maybe go to a meditation retreat and maybe go to a yoga retreat. It's all about mind, body, spirit. All about mind, body, spirit. So good. So good to think and to share and to be and to feel and to find and to face your stuckness, to face where you were stuck and where you were in a rut, right? You got to face it. And if you are a couple of days away from your situation, from where you are, from home, then oh, it's awesome. So nice. Everybody needs that. I'm not just taking a beach vacation or talking a beach vacation. Yes, I want to take a beach vacation all the time, but I'm talking a little spiritual retreat for yourself. So good. That feels so good. And the last thing that I want to add, number 10, is do things that make you feel alive. Do things that you can connect to in your mind that give you that feeling of, yes, I remember. Connect to your happy self, connect to your memories that made you feel so good and that made you feel in the moment with God. Connect to the church. I will tell you that when I lost my mom, I did most of my grief in I felt that I grieved a lot when I went to Rome and I visited many cathedrals. And that at that moment didn't even have anything to do with the branch of my religion or where I needed to be, but it was just this overwhelming feeling of sadness that I could share. And I felt the help and I felt the spiritual energy and power of my higher spirit of God being there and listening to me so that I could flow and let my tears flow and I could flow in grief and in sadness and just be there. So I felt that that was just a great way of of kind of feeling my happiness and my spiritual sense of connection in that place, even if it wasn't great sadness. And if I bring myself back to that memory, and I get stuck and I don't think that he's listening, I need to go back there because I know that way he was listening. Of course, there was so much answers that I got after the fact. So many, so many, so many. So I knew that I sometimes I go back to those memories and I just kind of connect with those thoughts and with those feelings. Sometimes, like I said, stay out of your comfort zone. That makes you alive. Stay in the moment and just be grateful. That makes you feel alive. Be grateful for what you do. Be grateful for who you do it with, right? Just be grateful for the people around you that you pick. And if they don't make you happy, then you gotta go. So make sure that you are at ease and you feel peace with your environment and you have only people around you that lift you up, people that are on your balcony. And I go a little bit into that next week, so I will give you a lot more tips about how to get that emotional and spiritual balance. We're going to talk about that next week, how to just kind of be balanced. And Today I wanted to finish with you telling you that these things all have so much impact, right? If you're doing it for yourself. So if you are having that feeling that you're a little bit stuck and that you're in the rut and that you're not connected, then reach out. Always reach out. Please reach out and tell and share and do something about it. Share with others because you don't want to stay in that place. It's a dark place. And the best thing is to have faith and to have hope and to be able to move forward and know that we got the answers from the past. And if you don't have them yet, that you will get them. Remember, the biggest place of awareness that you can create for yourself is that sense of peace, is to not let everything in your life be dependent on the outside world, be dependent on others, just like I started with. So try not to feel only a sense of happiness if other people are giving it to you, or if they give you a great job, or if they give you money, or if they give you an opportunity to go somewhere, or if they are willing to be with you because otherwise you're not there. You have to be able to find that sense of being happy and at peace on your own, in your own place, without having to depend on people, on places, on others, on events, on anything around you. And I have finally and slowly in my life, I came to the place of knowing that I'm always at peace. Of course, I have days that I'm not happy. Of course, I have days that I get up, gnarly, right? And then, of course, I feel sometimes that I'm like totally off and in the wrong place, and even just not liking it for days in a row. But it will never go so dark anymore. My unhappy in the moment will never go to a really dark place anymore because I know it will go away. I know this too shall pass. I know it will just dissipate. I know it is not forever there. I know it is for a reason because I have hope and faith that there will be an answer in all that, right? And if you keep that and if you feel good with that, then you can go a long way. And you're just kind of like creating new things, like I said, and going to people and share with others and help others, and sometimes just step out of it and create time and me time. And that's what I would love for you to do. And if you would like to talk about today, of course, reach out. um, www.elianhaan.com. You can find my email, you can find my social media, Elian Haan, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all that good stuff. It's all there under my name, Elian Haan. And thank you so much for being here today with me. Thank you so much for listening and sharing. Thank you so much for letting me share and create. And I just want to give you a lot of energy and a lot of love. I want to share that with you again. And please reach out if you want to have, again, a little session with me as a life coach, or if you are seeking out for movement and wellness and feeling better. You can find me on social media, or you can find me on my website. And that will be www.elianhaan.com. It is a blessing to be here on Win Win Women. I am surrounded by amazing women, and we all have a message for you, and we all just love to share and talk and find each other, and discuss the things of the day and discuss the things of the week. And that's exactly what we're doing here on this program. Always reach out. elianhaan.com. Find my email, find my social media, send me messages, and let me know what you think. And just absolutely stay on Win Win Women. It is a wonderful place to be, and we have so much to share. I am grateful. I am grateful for you listening today. and tuning in. And today's topic, spirituality. Get out of the rut, get back into it. I hope you got something out of it. Namaste. I am super, super happy to share with you Elian Haan at Elian's Joy. And keep smiling. First thing, keep smiling. See you next week on spirituality and spiritual balance. That's what we're going to do next week. I hope to see you there.